Hi, kids. It's Mr. Max again. Friday afternoon. Tomorrow's the weekend. No school. Oh, we didn't have any school today either, did we? Maybe you had some school time at home. Anyway, I told you I would be back this afternoon to read you a story. And this is one of my favorite stories called The Magic Bed. And this book and the pictures are by a man named John Burningham, who lives in the country of England. And we're lucky to have his books here in the United States as well. There's the magic bed. Doesn't really look that magic, does it? But we'll see what it does. That bed is far too small for you now, Georgie, said Grandma. Why don't you and Frank go down to the shopping center and get you a new one? On the way to the shopping center, Georgie saw a shop that sold old furniture. Hey, Frank, said Georgie, maybe they have an old bed in there that we can use. Do you have a bed that would be right for this boy? Said Frank. Beds. Yes, I do have a little old bed in there somewhere, said the old man who ran the shop. After some time, the man found the bed. The lady this bed came from said it was magic, he said, and that you can travel in it. Frank and Georgie bought the bed. They tied it to the top of the car, and they drove it home. Georgie and Frank cleaned the bed all over. Look, Georgie, said Frank. There's some writing here on the headboard of the bed. It's very faint. I can hardly read it. What does it say? Said Georgie. It says, in this bed you will travel far. First say your prayers, and then say, I can't see the last word, Frank said. It says starts with the letter M, and then I can't read most of the word, and then it ends with the letter Y. What on earth have you got there? Grandma said when they got home. Why did you get that awful bed? It's an old bed. I told you to go to the shopping center and get a new bed. It's a lovely bed, said Georgie, and it's magic. You can travel in it. That evening, Georgie got ready for bed early. He said his prayers and he tried to say the magic word. He said every word he knew that started with the letter M and ended with the letter Y. Mommy, money, muddy, messy, minty, murky, matey, but none of them worked. And at last, Georgie fell asleep. Well, how'd you get on last night in your magic bed? Frankie asked Georgie at breakfast the next morning. Did you go to the moon or up the Amazon River? That night, Georgie went to bed early again and tried to guess the magic word. And he must have got it right because all of a sudden, he was flying in his bed way up high over the city. Georgie's bed finally landed in a field. Lots of gnomes and fairies came, and he read them a fairy tale from a book. There they are. There's the gnomes and the fairies. And doesn't that look like fun? Very warm feeling. At breakfast the next day, Georgie decided not to tell anyone about where he'd been during the night. And that evening, Georgie was off again. This time, he was traveling over a jungle. Now there's Georgie's bed, way up in the sky over the dark, dark jungle. And some people asked me why it's red there, and I didn't know either. But that's the way the artist thought a jungle, this particular jungle, might look at night. Georgie came upon a young tiger who'd gotten separated from his parents. And it didn't know how to get back home, and it was very sad. He took the young tiger back to its mother and father, who were very pleased that Georgie had found their child. Look how pleased they were. Licking him all over his face. On one of his journeys, Georgie found a chest full of treasure in a cave. But there were a bunch of pirates there too, who were very angry because they thought the treasure belonged to them. They chased Georgie down the beach. And he only just managed to escape. There he goes, said the magic word. Some nights, Georgie would go for a swim with dolphins in the ocean, which is why the bed was sometimes a little wet in the mornings. He parked the bed on the top of a cliff right over the ocean, so I guess it got some water. Maybe the waves came up very high during the night or something. Another night, Georgie gave a ride to some geese who had been flying for many, many miles and were very, very tired. And still another night, he had a race with some witches who were flying on their broomsticks. Then came the day when Georgie and his family went on their vacation. They waved goodbye to Georgie's granny and they took off. On the vacation, he forgot all about his magic bed. Looks like he had a good time. Played volleyball on the beach with some other kids. The vacation soon ended and they came home. There's a lovely present for you, Georgie, said Grandma. It's in your room. Georgie rushed up to his room, and there in the corner was a brand new bed. What have you done with my magic bed? Said Georgie. Oh, that nasty old thing we took it down to the dump today, said Grandma. Georgie raced out of the house, down the steps, and along the road to the dump. He just managed to get in through the gates just before the dump closed, and he climbed up into the dumpster. where he saw his magic bed up on top. Georgie leaped onto the bed, said the magic word, and very quickly rose up into the sky. Now, if you lie very still in your bed and find your magic word, maybe you could travel far away, just like Georgie. The end. That's our story for today. I wanted to say one thing about the way I read the book, because I know at school, if I ever read a book folding the pages all the way over, many people say to me, no, you're not supposed to read a book that way. So this book is my own book, and the reason I did that was I felt like I could show you the story better, because sometimes there's words that are just about one page. So I thought it would be a better job for reading, and I was careful not to hurt the pages. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed the magic bed. See if you can find your magic word tonight, and have a great weekend. And I may post stories tomorrow too, and songs. Probably will. See you soon. Bye-bye.